All right. Joe, have you ever been accused of being a poser?
You're listening to Transparency and Merit. And today is Thursday. It's Thursday, March 3rd, 2022. And today is Thursday. It's Thursday, March. Turn it off, Brian. 3rd, 2022.
You, buddy.
And it is. I suck. Damn it.
We all do that. I've done that before, Joe.
You did it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing a decade. We've been talking about this now for a little bit, maybe two.
You know what I mean?
It's a decade of the poser.
You know what? All these movements, man, it's just so full of it, man. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of the poser, man. I mean, it's like whether it was Black Lives Matter, now it's Ukraine. I stand with Ukraine. Boo-hoo, Ukraine. It's like, you know what? I'm ready. You know what? I'm ready for the nuclear war. Let's just bring it out. You know, let's get it going, huh?
Don't be a poser. And to answer your question, I won't say that nobody's probably said that behind my back, but I have only maybe once or twice in joking. I was never seriously called a poser.
Neither have I been.
But I've known a few.
I think that I have. I think that I may have been. I don't know if I ever was one, but you know what? I may have been. I'm not sure. Melky B. Honestly, when it comes to the poor, no lives matter. I would agree with that, Melky. You're poor, man. They don't care about you. You're homeless on the street without enough to eat. Yeah, nobody cares about you. It's all fake. You know? After a while, man, nobody wants to hear your problems.
Now, I told you the best way to deal with posers. Do you agree with me?
Well, refresh my memory.
The best way to deal with a poser is A, put them on ignore. But before you put them on ignore, make sure you bash the shit out of them and make sure they know that they are still a fucking poser. Excuse my language.
Yeah, you know what I mean? How many of these people, like, you know, some of these BLM and this and that, if you live in a neighborhood that's not diverse and you've never, like, had to, like, work at a store that's been robbed or dealt with a criminal element, part of me wants to tell him, you know, shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. And here he goes. Boo-hoo, Master of Rope, a.k.a. June, tells me to boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
Here on maybe Discord or in some of the rooms where you frequent.
Yes.
Oop. Did you hear any of that? Shoot. Okay. My question was, do you know any posers around here on the internet?
I do know, like I just know a few, you know, like on I don't follow the people on Twitter, but Twitter and there are Facebook people who aren't like who I know who follow stupid fads. Guys, the link is open for anyone who wants to defend being a poser or not being a poser. Maybe this is all a bunch of nonsense. Go and tell it to our face. Don't just say boo-hoo to me.
That's right.
You're welcome to add anything in. This is going to be around. Well, I'm going to make it short because I got to get to bed. But
Don't waste your time being a poser, though. It's not worth it.
yeah. And that I am the biggest poser. Who's a poser? Who's a poser? You are. Well, you know what? And actually, I am considered a poser because they don't think I'm stoic. They think I'm not stoic at all. So come on, Junie.
Who's the poser? You're the poser, Brian.
No,
You're the
you're
biggest
the
poser around.
You're the poser. You are a poser.
No, you're a posy boy, Brian.
No,
Posiest of boys I know.
Why do you think June is a poser? Or Donnie?
Okay, I don't really know if he says who he is. I think maybe he's. I don't know. I think he may not be.
Something about him is disingenuous.
I haven't put my finger on it.
You can't put your finger on it.
But he may be a gay poser.
Oh, that is a real leap.
Says Brian, who wants to be the president of the gays. Another poser thing to do, Brian.
I'm doing it for you, June.
No, you're not even gay, Brian. Unless you want to be gay now.
I'm doing it for the gays.
No. Yeah, that's what every single piece of shit has said. Oh, I'm doing this for you. I'm just slaughtering you just to help you out. Yeah.
I'm helping you out. Give me a break.
That's not helping anything out, Brian.
The best way to help everybody out is to just try to understand everyone the best you can.
Or give them a tug job. It's up to you, JP.
Jesus Christ. Taking it to the dregs, June.
Wow. Lowering our standards night after night.
Well, your show was boring to begin with. I'm just adding some entertainment.
Yes.
Yes. Tug jobs are going to get us millions of views. I could see it now. Who else? Do you ever know any posers in school or anything like that in your life? I have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I did know of this one goth guy that was a poser.
Yeah, it's usually the goths that get called out because it's such an alluring thing for an outcast. Like that Ali Sheedy character in Breakfast Club got called out. And
Let me ask you this, June. Were you ever a goth boy?
No. The reason I figured out he was a poser because his in the same concerto I played the violin at. Yeah. And he was when I saw him at school, he was dressed as a goth. Fucking weirdo.
Now, why is it? You know what I've noticed is that a lot of it's a lot of gay men that become goth or gay acting men, and then it's a lot of overweight, obese women that are goth chicks. Would I be wrong in that assumption?
That is a stereotype, Brian.
But is it a true stereotype?
Not really.
Fatty chicks.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Feeling like an outcast, sure. If a girl is obese, she might already feel like an outcast, and black supposedly is kind of like a I don't know, I guess sort of a slimming sort of color to wear. So there is that element of poser in the goth world. I noticed girls hiding behind the dark clothing, but not the attitude. The I don't know what they ever stood for to begin with. It's all so fragile.
Were you ever an emo?
I was more into punk than anything, Brian.
I bet, dude. I bet you were.
Me too. I was more of a. I was into that scene way more than anything. The punk
Oh, you guys are both posers then.
How are we posers, Brian?
Punk was Poserville, dude. It wasn't, we got suckered just like everybody. Everybody had their programming, Brian. So I don't think that necessarily makes a poser. It makes maybe misguided, there's a lot of angst and rage, and you're stronger and all that at that age. And punk was the physical outlet for that.
Did you ever go into? Did you ever go into a mosh pit, Joey?
Oh yeah, I didn't do too well, but yeah, I did.
Junie, did you go into a mosh pit?
Yeah, I've done pretty well.
I'd have beat your ass. Like you didn't.
Dude, you really don't know how mosh pits work. You don't just beat the fuck out of people. Like, what's wrong with you, asshole?
I remember I was in Tijuana, and Nirvana's Nevermind had just come out, and so there was this. We went to this like a papas and beer kind of place, and they played that really loud and real loudly, and we all started doing. It was like this huge mosh pit in there, and my friend that I got up with had lost a bet that night, so we had shaved his head, and so he becomes a skinhead target. Some guy literally knocks him out, just walks by him, smashes him in the face with his elbow. He gets up, and there's an MTV crew right behind him with their lights on him, and he spits right into the camera. And I thought that was the coolest day of my life. But yeah, punk was already dead by then, long dead.
Yeah, that was the biggest. You know something? And if we're talking about Nirvana,
that actually is the biggest poser, Brian.
Let me just say this.
Kurt Cobain, biggest poser around.
Oh, what a poser! A poser.
Well, fans of his are complete. Yes.
Oh my God,
Kurt Cobain is a poser and probably faked his death. He's a scumball.
I'll stop with that nonsense, please.
He probably did. Go. I've spent more hours looking at the facts than you, and my conclusion is another fake on the masses.
Okay, Joe. Well, here's the deal. I have a family member that is completely Nirvana nutbag.
Yeah, he likes a guy who's a faker.
Nirvana only has one good song, Brian. One good song.
You know what?
Which one is it, in your opinion?
My favorite Nirvana song, it's only one, and it's Rape Me.
That's actually a song. There's a song called Rape Me?
Yeah, it's by Nirvana.
Was it from Territorial? Was it Teen Pissings or Territorial Pissings? Was that?
I think it was. No, it was a later album. It was based on that story about Polly. Polly wants a cracker.
That was stupid. What's happened to the world? Songs like Rape Me.
Rape me, Brian.
Well, Kurt, of your very much controlled psychological operation called rock and roll music. If you don't recognize that, you're the dupe. But hey, we all, like I said, we all got programmed in different ways. What was if you weren't into punk and you weren't a poser, what were you into, Brian?
Movies. And you know what? For a long time, movies had a big hold over me. They don't anymore. Now, and music shouldn't have a hold over you either. You shouldn't be joining the crowd and this band means something to me in this day and age. Look, man, people who believe that stuff to me are like, it's juvenile, and people who follow movements are juvenile. They're duped.
That could be the same with you. You follow a stupid movement, Brian.
Maybe I do, but I'm not saying that it doesn't have any power. I have an ego and things like that, but at least I can recognize it, unlike you.
But you don't fix it, Brian. You just said, duh. Let's talk about race on the show. Duh.
I just find people cry so much about it. The crying, and I
It's
just
not
mock
really
it.
the crying.
They're crybabies. They're babies. People who cry, don't say that. Oh, it hurts my feelings. You're racist.
We're not on Twitter. Not everyone is a crybaby like you, Brian. Because you cry the same thing when people show you some shit you don't like.
I cry too. Cry, baby, cry. You know, that's another thing that I've seen on, that I've begun to see on like news. You know, I remember a time when newscasters would never cry. Ever. And now you see that like at least once a month, one of these guys bawling, oh, COVID, oh, the disaster. Yeah, Joey, I think we're going to end this show. And I'll end it on this.
There's so much to say about the poser. There's
continue it.
So much.
But I want to say this seems to be the decade of the poser. People are going on about the Ukraine, getting their flag, just as they did with Black Lives Matter. And and they just took over the establishment. And I can't stand it. It makes me sick. And these people make me want to vomit. And I'm being honest here. They make me want to vomit. They make me sick. They're pathetic. They're morons. They're imbeciles. In some countries, man, they talk about how bad our law is. In some countries, man, you break the law, they blow you away. They blow you away. Bang, bang, you're dead. Woohoo.
You want to know who's a poser, Brian? Your boy Tim Pool, the guy you always fillet.
Give me a break.
Big poser.
Biggest poser around.
I disagree.
That's a good call. That's an excellent call. There's so much more that we could add to that, Brian, but maybe people can leave comments for once and let us know what you think about Poservilles, your experiences with posers. I've witnessed posers at work. I've people who abuse their powers. Those are posers. People that I've seen come into money. And act like they've got it all. Posers. It doesn't matter. It's not a rich or poor thing. It's not a socioeconomic thing, in my view. It's not a black and white thing. It's not even an ideological thing. It's an everybody thing. If you want to make your way in this so-called system and separate yourself from the only real thing in this world, which is nature, and we've all been, everything we've talked about has done nothing but pull people away from the family unit or separate them from nature. And I think there's no avoiding it. Once you step your foot into the system, there's some trial and error to succeed, but along the way, you're going to make some mistakes and you're going to step in some buckets. And I'm no different from anyone. I've stepped in a whole ton of buckets. Can of corn.
There we go. Hey, Joey, I think the next show we got to do is Tim Pool, Red Pill, or Poser.
He's a poser, dude. That guy's the worst.
Next show, you gotta prove your case. You think he's a poser?
A fearmonger, and he sells a whole bunch of garbage. That guy's a piece of junk.
All right.
All right. Anyways, we'll get to Tim Pool.
Hey guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Visit our website, transparencyandmerit.com.
Oh, Granny Fanny is here. Welcome.
And you might want to go to our Rumble page.
Rumble? What's that?
It's a video streaming service.
Oh yeah, it's just another social network.
Yeah, and visit our website, transparencyandmerit.com. Thank you so much for listening, and give as many thumbs up as you can. Thank you.